Understanding pox. What is it? Mpox, once known as monkeypox, was first discovered in the late 1950s. However, in the past 3 to 4 years, the virus has undergone several mutations, leading to increased human-to-human transmission. One important thing to note about this disease is that, despite its former name monkeypox, it has very little to do with monkeys. Sagan Friant, an anthropologist at Pennsylvania State University, explains, the virus was first discovered in monkeys at a laboratory in Denmark, where it was isolated. However, monkeys are not the original source of this disease. The initial host might be an animal that can carry the virus, without being affected by it. Friant has studied this virus in Nigeria for over 15 years. He mentioned that while it's not confirmed, the virus likely originated from rodents. In late 2022, the World Health Organization, WHO, renamed the virus Mpox to reduce stigma associated with its former name. Friant noted, historically, scientists believe that diseases in primates pose the greatest threat to humans, because of our genetic similarities. However, we're increasingly seeing that zoonotic diseases from rodents and bats are becoming more significant. Where did Mpox come from? Mpox was first identified in 1958 in a research lab in Copenhagen, Denmark. The virus was discovered in monkeys brought from Singapore. The first human case was identified in 1970, in a 9-month-old boy hospitalized in the Democratic Republic of the Congo (DRC). While the boy lived in a tropical rainforest area where monkeys were present, it was unclear how he contracted the virus. Before 2003, when 70 cases were reported in the United States, it's believed that there were already cases of Mpox in several African countries. The 2003 outbreak in the U.S. was linked to pet prairie dogs, which were housed with Gambian pouch rats imported from Ghana. Since May 2022, Mpox cases have been reported in countries like the U.S., UK, Australia, and across Europe. While these cases raised concerns, they are relatively few compared to the endemic situation in Africa. Since January 2023, the DRC has reported over 19,000 cases and 900 deaths, due to the more severe Clade I strain of the virus. The Clade II strain, which caused the 2022 outbreak in the U.S., is less severe. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) has stated that while Clade I remains a concern in the DRC, it poses a low risk in the U.S., especially for those who are vaccinated or have previously had pox. Genetic analysis suggests that the virus responsible for the recent surge might have been circulating undetected outside Africa for several years, potentially mutating to become more transmissible. How does Mpox spread? Unlike COVID-19, which spreads easily through respiratory droplets, Mpox is not as easily transmitted. It usually requires prolonged close contact, such as direct physical contact with an infected person. Madeline Barron from the American Society for Microbiology (ASM) stated, transmission could occur through contact with infectious lesions, scabs, or bodily fluids. Even touching objects that an infected person has used can lead to infection. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that between April and June 2022, 98% of Mpox cases occurred among men who have sex with men (MSM). However, this might simply be due to the virus spreading within a specific community, rather than being more easily transmitted among MSM compared to other groups. Researchers have detected Mpox DNA in semen, but this doesn't necessarily mean the virus spreads through sexual contact. For transmission to occur, the virus must be fully functional, which is not guaranteed even if its DNA is present. How dangerous is Mpox? While the West African strain of Mpox Clade II generally causes milder illness, the Central African strain Clade I can have a fatality rate of up to 10%. Clade II, which has a survival rate of 99.9%, caused 99,176 cases and 208 deaths between 2022 and June 2024, according to WHO. Despite the relatively low mortality rate, those infected describe Mpox as a painful and debilitating illness. The disease has an incubation period of 6 to 14 days, but symptoms can appear 5 to 21 days after exposure. Early symptoms resemble the flu, with fever, headache, and muscle aches, followed by swollen lymph nodes, and a rash that progresses through several stages before scabbing over. Treatment is primarily supportive, focusing on relieving symptoms. As there is no specific antiviral treatment for Mpox, the risk of severe illness or death is higher among those with weakened immune systems. Is Mpox evolving? Mpox is a brick-shaped virus with double-stranded DNA, making it more genetically stable and less prone to mutations compared to RNA viruses, like the coronavirus SARS-CoV-2. Rodney Rode, a professor at Texas State University, explains, RNA viruses mutate rapidly, often leading to significant changes. While Mpox has undergone some mutations, these don't seem to increase the severity of the disease. However, the emergence of a new Clade I variant in the DRC, which appears to spread more easily through close contact, suggests that the virus is evolving. This variant, first identified near Goma in North Kivu, has been particularly prevalent among children under 15. Although some recent studies have identified potential mutations that could alter the characteristics of the disease, further research is needed to understand the implications fully. Why has Mpox been declared a global health emergency? In July 2022, the WHO declared Mpox a public health emergency of international concern (PHIEC), a designation that was lifted in May 2023 after progress was made in controlling the disease. However, in August 2024, the Africa CDC declared a new public health emergency. Due to the rapid spread of a new variant across several African countries, WHO followed suit, redeclaring Mpox a global health emergency on August 14, 2024. The concern stems from Mpox's connection to smallpox. For nearly 200 years, the world vaccinated against smallpox, leading to its eradication in 1980. However, since the cessation of smallpox vaccinations in the mid-1980s, the global population has lost immunity to both smallpox and similar viruses, including pox. Rode noted, during the height of smallpox eradication, there was likely a strong global immunity, but after the end of the vaccination campaign, our immunity has waned. How effective is the vaccine? Fortunately, the smallpox vaccine is reported to be up to 80% effective against pox. While there have been discussions about phasing out global smallpox vaccine stockpiles, many countries are now replenishing their supplies, particularly in the wealthier parts of the world. This disparity in access to vaccines highlights a major issue with the current pox outbreak. Despite being known for over 50 years, Mpox only garnered significant attention when it began spreading outside of Africa. According to the Africa CDC, from early 2022 to May of that year, when cases were first detected in North America and Europe, there were 1,267 confirmed cases and at least 285 deaths across Africa. Rode stated, for decades, many have pointed out the global inequity in addressing such diseases. It seems we only take them seriously when they become a problem in our own regions. Barron added, in regions like Africa, where Mpox has been a long-term issue, there is still a lack of resources, diagnostics, and vaccines needed to combat this disease effectively. If COVID-19 taught us anything, it's that the world is interconnected, and diseases know no borders. Global cooperation is essential. A 2020 UN report warned that human encroachment on natural habitats and climate change are increasing the risk of zoonotic diseases. Friant emphasizes the need for improved monitoring and early prevention of diseases that can spread from animals to humans. We need more investment in understanding and preventing the early stages of zoonotic transmission, Friant said. Countries must strengthen their capacity in cooperation to respond to such outbreaks, and these efforts should not be limited to protecting only the Western world. Mpox, like COVID-19, is a disease that originated in animals and spread to humans. While it is slower to spread and preventable through vaccination, Mpox is not the last of such diseases. The world must remain vigilant and prepared for the next potential outbreak.